What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of Une Sports. This is episode 80, Mike. It's a big one. I'll add that. I'll add that.
Need a soundboard.
Yeah, we do. We never know in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, available on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Welcome to a new episode. You're joined with your hosts, Mike and Richie. This was a long week, Mike.
A lot happened.
Yeah, a lot happened. We will be talking about the second leg of Champions League 2024. Many things happened. Real Madrid will be facing Dortmund in the final. That's June 1st at Wembley. And we will also give you results of the Europa League. And we will be discussing the NBA playoffs. We will be most likely talking about the Knicks versus Indiana and the Draymond Green comments to the Knicks. And what was the last one again, Mike?
I don't remember.
Oh yeah, Coach Mike Budenholzer
being hired.
And yeah, so do you want to start? Actually, let's start with PSG and Dortmund. But before that, actually, let me just give a couple quick bites. And Mike, I don't know if you saw the highlights of or the game itself for Bayern Leverkusen and AS Roma.
No,
they
I
did it
didn't
again,
get to
Mike.
see. Yeah,
they just did that in the week, like in the weekend.
Yep.
But I'm losing.
It was ridiculous, man. Like, you think Roma's gonna be able to get to extra time and then
like figure it out, or maybe Leverkusen like wins, but yeah, man,
it's tough.
Did not want no extra time. So this game ended 2-2. Aggregate 4-2 for Leverkusen against AS Roma. So they will be going to the finals. They're gonna play against Atalanta. And they won against Marseille 3-0, aggregate 4-1. It was a sad week for the French clubs. French media is like crying a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was a tough week for them, seeing the last two French teams get knocked out in the semifinal, very close to the finals. And so that finals is going to be on May 22nd, is on a Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Champions League, Mike. We had Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich on Wednesday. Real Madrid won 2-1, aggregate 4-3. And we had Paris Saint-Germain versus Dortmund. That was on Tuesday. Dortmund won at the Parc des Princes 1-0. So that will be a final of Real Madrid versus Dortmund on June 1st. And we have a couple NBA games today, Mike. Very good games. Knicks versus Indiana.
KD, don't you wish you came to the Knicks?
A little bit too late now. But Knicks versus Pacers starting right now. And then later on, they have the Nuggets versus Timberwolves, 9:30 p.m. Everyone is kind of excited to see what's going to happen tonight. Is it going to be a 3-0 or are the Nuggets back?
Yep.
All right, let's start with Dortmund versus Paris Saint-Germain. They won 1-0. And your boy Sancho is going to the finals.
It's crazy.
If I told you in, let's say, November, Sancho will be playing in the Champions League final in Wembley, what would you tell me, Mike? You could be straightforward.
I'd be like, are you the R word? That's all I would have said, bro. Like, no cap. Like, real talk. Like, I don't be like, wait, what are you dumb? Like, the guy's training with the U18s, man. Like, he's not even part of the club. He's not even fit. Like, even if he goes out on loan, like, what he's gonna do? Like, I was like, oh man. And now this kid is like, over the last 2.5 weeks, like, his confidence just skyrocketed. He was playing against one of the most dynamic left backs in Europe that has pace, and he was just putting him in a blender. Like I'm talking about Nuno Metch, um, for Paris Saint-Germain. He was putting this kid in a blender, man. Like it was just like ridiculous. Like and now he's gonna be playing Real Madrid in the Champions League finals. 3 months ago, he was not even part of Manchester United's side, dude. Like insane,
Life is
insane.
crazy, Mike.
Yep.
Like if you have not noticed yet, well, you're seeing it now. But um, I think that overall, we know Luis Enrique's teams. They he wants possession. He wants security of the ball, and then from there you try to score. He's not that. I think the style of that play, like you don't really. Well, when you have a player like Mbappe, maybe you can score 2, 3 out of nowhere, but it doesn't really transition to a lot of goals when you play like that because
Mhm.
your players don't tend to shoot. But you have a couple players that do. Like you have Dembele, he's not really good, but he takes his chances. The strikers don't really play Mike, so that's why I'm not even naming them. And Mbappe is gonna take a couple shots, and you have Vitinha as well, who likes that, and he scores as well. I think they were very unlucky, Mike. Like
Oh, for sure.
two posts or three.
For sure. Like
Oh,
four. I think
in that
four in
last
that
game.
game. Yeah, in the last game,
Four, yeah,
four.
yeah, four.
Yeah.
Vitinha, Nuno Mendes, Mbappe, and I can't remember who was the fourth. Oh, Zaire Emery. I think out of all of those, Zaire Emery was the one that he should have netted that one. So there was a mix of unlucky, but also like Henri was saying, he doesn't really believe in luck. Like I think also Terzic had a great plan, and when you have plans like that, your players that are gonna be in the transitions, like in the counters, when you get those rare opportunities, even if it's one or two, you gotta take advantage. You gotta be very clinical. Fluke did that,
Yeah. And the
and
second the second leg, I think it was more of a defensive mistake. You
yeah, I think
know.
there was a pick, if we can say.
Yeah.
Geraldo came very late. Matt Hummels was already grounded. He's a little bit taller, more physical. He had a very good header on that one, and I
Yep.
think
It was
also the goalie was not well positioned as well.
basically free. I don't like
Yeah,
Donnarumma on. I don't like Donnarumma
he's very
on corner
shaky.
kicks, man. Like
He's
it's
very
just it's
shaky.
so bad. Like
He's
I don't know.
shaky with his feet and also shaky on the corner. So it's tough, man.
And he's
Tough.
big.
I think they're gonna be
He's
looking. I
six
think they're gonna
six.
be looking for no goalie in the
Yeah,
future.
he's 6'6". So that's the thing that I don't understand. I'm like, I could understand Andre Onana, like for example, like
Yeah.
when he's coming out and it looks super he looks super suspicious because
And
he's only six
the
feet.
Tottenham also coach. What was his name? Vicario.
Vicario, you
Oh
don't like him? Really?
no,
On
on
corner kicks?
corners,
Yeah.
on corner kicks. There was a game that like that was the plan for like
Yeah.
5 minutes. So, like we get corners, we're gonna ambush him, and it worked.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
So
mean, I don't know.
yeah.
I kind of disagree with Ari a little bit because I think it was unlucky, but at the same time, I feel like
No,
some.
Henri's comments was to the Real Madrid and
Oh, okay,
Bayern.
okay.
I'm
And
just
Byron
saying
side,
that.
yeah. No,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
just saying that
yeah,
there's
that
not
ain't
really too much luck always
that ain't
involved.
luck, man.
Like,
That's just like Thanos. He's inevitable.
because like when you look at the game stats, you're gonna be like, how did PSG did not win? Because they had
Mhm.
possession, they created some chances, but in reality, all the chances that they created besides the post, the other ones were not really like very dangerous. I think Dembele had two chances, and always shows you sometimes that I'm not clinical, guys.
Yeah,
But overall, I think Telzic plan really worked well. The defenders had a very good game. Like
surprisingly, Schlotterbeck, Matt Hummels was
Schlotterbeck, I was gonna say
playing.
like had a great game.
Sule, all
Yeah,
these guys, Rierson and
yeah.
kid coming from Chelsea, who's probably more than likely will be a
Staying.
permanent
Yeah.
move.
He's not going back.
Ian
Madsen.
Matson.
Yeah.
Young guys, man, young team too,
Yeah.
dude. Like
Young
it's a
team.
young
So
team with some
of
with a good blend of
character, because like
yeah.
to main, I know like there were a couple they were lucky with the posters, but like in general, like they showed character in a competition like that. Like many of them have not been there. I think Matt Hummels is the only one that went to the finals in that team,
Yep,
and
he's the only
and
one.
yeah, so they showed very character, Mike. Like so I was very
Actually,
surprised.
no. Is it only him and was Grealish not there yet?
Maybe Emery Khan. with
No.
Liverpool?
Chan wasn't there. I
Oh,
think I
Rose.
was
Yeah,
very,
Rose
very
was there. So
sure.
I forgot about it because he's on the
Marco
bench. Sorry.
Royce. Yeah.
Sorry, Rose.
Mm.
My apologies,
Um,
bro.
but
Um,
I can't
maybe
remember
Sula
if
with
he
Bayern
was done.
Munich. I can't remember.
Me
Can't
neither.
fact check right now.
Yeah, me neither.
But
Um,
yeah, so that's my comment towards them. I don't know if you want to add anything before we move to the next game.
yeah, I mean their XG, I think Paris Saint-Germain's XG was like 3 point something.
PSG?
Yeah,
Yeah.
their XG was like 3 point something, and Dortmund was like point eight or whatever it was
Don't
because
matter.
they didn't really
Clinical.
create anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean it is what it is, man. Like I think sometimes these stories write themselves. Because I was starting to expect, and I was like, oh, okay, damn, Mbappe is really going to face the club that he's already signed for in the Champions League final. And I wouldn't want this guy to like absolutely obliterate Madrid and then have this like awkward new beginning like when he comes to Spain. So but and then it just didn't happen. They didn't score in either ties.
Yeah.
I think you know overall the Mbappe thing, like whether people want like it or not, even me, like personally, like because I'm not somebody that's the biggest fan of Mbappe at all. Like I would say, like that had some negative impact on the team, especially like you cannot not play him because he's
He's clinical.
top two, top three best players in the world.
Yeah.
Um, so you just cannot not play him. Like you can't sit him on the bench for 40 for 60 minutes and say like, all right, you're gonna play the last 30 or whatever, knowing that he's leaving because you just have to play him. But I think overall like it had a negative impact on
Yeah, it
the
had a negative
yeah.
impact, but I don't I think people always forget that he was not supposed to be there anymore.
Yeah.
So if you drag this to the end and then it's gonna be his last year, the elephant in the room is gonna be addressed because like it's gonna be awkward. We know like this is his last year, and also on his side also it's gonna be awkward. It got to the awkward point that like it got to that last point which created this awkwardness, and yeah, so that's on both of them. That's because if they sat like to if Paris Saint Germain wanted to move on, they should have sold him. And him, well, he did his part. He said he wanted to leave, but it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, so it's
For
over.
sure. For
He
sure.
actually announced today as well
Yep.
on his page that he will be leaving. So Sunday is gonna be his last game at the Parc des Princes, and probably after the final, they're gonna let us know who's this next club, which most likely like Real Madrid is like leading the race 98%.
I think the paperwork's done already.
Yeah, I know. Just don't want to drag and
Yeah.
get into it because they say
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
I like it's very obvious, but
Yeah.
we want to stay professional, Mike,
Yeah,
because
for
we
sure, for sure.
haven't seen it yet. Until we see it, we say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to the club. He's might be going. Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich, second leg, 2-1. A better Real Madrid version that we have not seen in a while. Was actually tired of seeing counter Real Madrid all the time. Like wanted to see Real Madrid that control the games because when Real Madrid control games, it's actually nice because it's not just passing; it's also shootings. Like people like to see like people like that. There's two difference. It's like passing, passing, passing. Or you see like they had possession, but there's nothing created. But passing and creation.
Yeah.
Bayern Munich also had a lot of counters, good counters. I think Sané
Uh-huh.
was very disappointed. Musiala in the first half was very bleh. And Davies kind of gave him a little bit life in the second, but the first half, I think Real Madrid played a very dangerous game because they had their foot on their and Bayern's neck for a moment, and they had moments that they could have scored. It didn't, and you saw that in the second half, Davies punished them, and that's a very dangerous game. Um, I see that people, I see that a lot of people are saying that magic, magic, magic. I think I'm just playing a dangerous game with this magic thing.
Yeah, I mean for
Um,
sure. Like I mean you never want to really be in these positions all the
yeah.
time. I think I don't remember which team was always making these comebacks in the playoffs. I think maybe probably Denver when they interviewed Jamal Murray and they're asking him like, how does this team always figure it out? It's like, it's like, yeah, we don't want to be in that position, but
We are.
yeah,
So we got to get out of here.
yeah, we we
Yeah.
we we have to figure it out at the end of the day. And I mean, yeah, just like you said, Real Madrid really dominated the game. I think the first leg they were a shell of themselves. It was very uncharacteristic. That's why a lot of people were started bringing up statistics of like, hey, Real Madrid could make the finals without even winning a game. Basically in the in the um in like the last two knockout stages. Um, but yeah, man, it's just looking at the game, I was really impressed with how Vinicius did. Obviously, these guys were playing really well up front, but I didn't like how the back line was performing. And Tuchel could be very angry. The team could look at themselves and be very angry because, on these
They had
counterattacks,
opportunities.
yeah, on these
Yeah.
counterattacks, like a few better passes here and there, like we're talking about
New
an
game.
entire different ball game, man,
Yeah.
because they really had good breakouts,
Yeah, they
but
did.
some
Yeah.
terrible, terrible mistimed passes really screwed them over.
Terrible decisions as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
So where they couldn't even get a shot on target
Yeah.
On Lunin. But and then on a counterattack in the second
There
half
was that I
after
think Davis took a shot. It was blocked and then went over
yeah,
Lunin's
yeah.
net. That could have been also like a dangerous play as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't like the way Nacho, Mendy was playing, and even in the dying embers, the reason why Real Madrid was in that position where the referee calls offside, which again I believe is offside. It's marginal, but I think overall it is offside. Um, and I think the reports came out after that said like yeah it was the right call, like he was offside.
They,
You know
they
they're
were they were saying that report came from like a Spanish Real Madrid league. So yeah, they said they but
but
I saw the hands, that's why I was like kind of like not sure. So they never like really dissected it. So
yeah
I just moved on. But everyone stopped playing. That's the thing. Like
yeah
Luna was just they everyone was just their guards was down. So
yeah because they saw the flag and
yeah, that's a very tough position to be on
yeah.
and to make a mistake like that. But if it's a mistake at the end of the day, but
But the
I don't think
reason
that
why
really it doesn't determine the outcome of the game because
yeah
um I'm gonna make a parallel to the Indiana and in the Knicks game. Like, yeah, there were like some calls that could have been called, but you guys were up, you had the momentum, and you just gave it away. So that's the same thing. Like Bayern had, even Kane had like a very good opportunity that
yeah he
any
did
given Sunday night, I mean Sunday morning or afternoon in the Bundesliga, he nets those, but we're very unlucky on those. And then it's like, wow,
yeah and then
there were details, like Muller said, it's gonna be details,
yep it comes down it
and it
comes
came
down
to
to the
details
details
literally.
yeah. I mean, we spoke about it. I don't know if, but we spoke about it on, I think on the one of the last podcasts that we recorded, like for the playoffs. Like it's small details. Like when I don't know if we did talk about it on the podcast, but I know if like for the Denver and the Lakers series, like a lot of the
We
stuff
didn't
that
get into it, and it might have
yeah
been a chat talk.
yeah a lot of the stuff that screwed the Lakers were
Details,
the
just stupid
details.
errors, killing the momentum.
Yeah.
That could switch a whole game. Like a good play from Denver from your from your turnover. Sorry.
Mm. But yeah,
But yeah, let's go back on track for that one.
yeah,
Just
Khan.
before we end, any comments?
I was gonna say Khan, but Noor, who played an incredible game up until that
Yeah, that
gift
was like unfortunate.
that gift that he gave us because we just couldn't get through past him, and he gives us this gift to Joselu, and but the last point I wanted to make, the reason why Real Madrid was in the position in the end, like to even for 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 Delete to even score that goal was because Vini is drifting out wide with the ball. Nobody's coming to show him support. He could pace. He could go and try to really full send the counterattack. But There's literally only 30 seconds left for the game to end. You see him drifting out wide to control the ball. Nobody goes and gives him support. They double team him. He loses the ball. But who's sprinting up the field? Nacho. For what reason? I don't fucking know. Like, why are you going up the field? Like, there's 30 seconds left. Why are you trying to add a man? Like, dude,
That reminds me of Brazil versus Croatia when
like,
I think it was like Fred that was like running at the opposite.
and
Yeah,
and then he loses possession, and they make that cross, and then the lead scores the goal, but they called offside. But I was like, yo, dude, why? Where are you going? Like, why? But bygones are bygones. Real Madrid is in the finals. And we'll see what happens versus Dortmund. We'll talk about it. We'll do a
yeah.
preview before then.
Most likely because it's in 3 weeks. We'll
Yeah.
definitely have a preview for that one. All right, so let's jump to the NBA playoffs.
Mm.
Tonight we have the New York Knicks that are actually playing right now. Check the score real quick, Mike, to let you know where they are at. Oh, it's 14-8 right now. Pacers are leading 14-8. So let's actually get to the first topic for it's actually coming out of that series that the Knicks are leading 2-0. Um, I know you said that the way the Knicks are playing is not sustainable. The minutes, the lack of play, the lack of like half court offense.
Mhm.
Um, the A, it's like it's gonna be probably 90% shots gonna be Brunson. And are you still seeing that there could be like a shift and Indiana will take advantage of maybe the Knicks crashing a little bit, or are you seeing something different from the two games you saw?
Um, no, I think it's still this. I think it's still very much the same. And um, I didn't. I think I fell asleep during that last game where Brunson missed the entire second quarter.
Yeah, that one I saw. Yeah.
Um, so I can't really say how they played without Brunson on the floor. Like you could
It
fill
was
me.
tough. Like just like even with Brunson, how it is very tough to create shots sometimes. There's gonna be sequences where the Knicks are not scoring for like 11, oh, I want to say 11 minutes for maybe like a good 4 or 5 plays. Like they can't score. It was the same. It was similar. Like it was very difficult. Lucky for them, they had OG that had a very good game, so he
Yeah.
was still knocking shots from there. And then like same old grind shots, like Josh Hart coast to coast from time to time. But the good thing about it is like every time the Indiana Pacers was trying to make a run, they were able to break those runs with a couple like coast to coast plays, grinding out some shots. This is just the typical New York basketball. And they went at the half down by 10, which was still grabbable. And in the third quarter, the Knicks always make a run late third to start fourth. That's why I'm gonna bring you a couple of stats of why I think that teams are losing against the Knicks. It's not even about like the Knicks outscoring them. It's themselves. They're beating themselves.
hmm
So that was basically the third and fourth. Just
Yeah. I mean,
typical
yeah.
Knicks grinding.
For me myself, I'm not really saying I don't know. Like, I mean, Anunoby is missing the game tonight,
Yeah,
so
he's
they're
most likely gonna miss game 5.
yeah, and
I could tell you
so
that.
so, so
Yeah.
they're a little bit stretched thin, but it comes down to Tom Thibodeau, man. Tom Thibodeau has been the same way. I think the best offensive output that he's had as a coach was probably when he was coaching Minnesota, and that's because like he had Carl Anthony Towns,
Yeah.
who's a very versatile scorer. So, and even then, like the team wasn't performing at an elite level. They just barely made it into like
Yeah.
the
The
the the
playoffs.
playing,
Yeah. The plan, man.
playing playoffs. So yeah, he's been that way, like just grinding his starters for
Oof. Or
uh,
that's something he
lo-
will do.
long minutes, and I
Yeah.
think that's one of the reasons I don't like him. I have like a very love-hate relationship with Tom Thibodeau. Like I hold the Derrick Rose injury all over his head all the time because I think it was genuinely his fault. Derrick Rose had no business going back into that game, but and now you got Anunoby that pulled the hamstring, and those are very tricky.
Yeah.
But and the thing is that like the Pacers really generate good offense, and they're running, and they're a young team that likes to run. So like you're kind of seeing the juxtaposition of like how difficult like New York are just making tough buckets. Like
Oh yeah, they are. They
they're
are.
just making tough
That's
buckets, and
like
then
when Indiana's picking up the pace, you can see how difficult for the Knicks to stay with their man, to stay in position, and they're like already out of breath. So that's like killing the energy that they have. And then after that, they gotta make tough buckets, which takes a lot of energy. You see how many
yeah,
times they're banging Brunson until he gets to a comfortable, not even a comfortable spot. Like he's just making tough shots.
yeah. And the
Yeah.
other thing too, like let's call a spade a spade. This team is not a good defensive team. The team that they're playing in
Pacers.
the Pacers, they're not a
Bro, I
good defensive team. So
think Randall would have
um,
feast
probably like they don't
with his
really have that much of
physicality.
an inside presence.
Yeah.
Then again, the trade for Pascal Siakam gave him a different dimension.
Yeah, he's making very
So
tough shots too. It's very hard sometimes to guard him because of his length. Um, but I do agree with you. It's not sustainable. The minutes as well, because like it's unacceptable that Brunson was out almost for the whole second quarter, and and basically like he was out for the whole second quarter, and I think Alec Burks only saw the court for like just two plays. It was like with 1 2 minutes left. He didn't really get to rhythm. I thought I was maybe we see him tonight. I'm not sure because I'm not tuned in yet, but we will be tuning in like when the show ends. But it is not sustainable. But something about the teams as well, when the Knicks are picking up the energy, they're picking up with the energy with so many aspects of the game. Like for example, let me circle back on the Pacers. I mean the Knicks and Philadelphia series. Fourth quarter. Philadelphia, like they shot 39% and the Knicks shot 43%. That was game one. Um, they were inefficient. The Philadelphia had 11 turnovers. In meantime, the Knicks fast break points, 27 versus 11. Second point chances,
mhm.
26-8. I know like the Knicks lost Mitchell Robinson, but Josh Hart's are getting rebounds as well. Yeah,
Dude.
it's not sustainable. Like he got a lot of minutes, but he's taking like great rebounds that doesn't show really in the stats. But you can see that's just one, and I think that was game four, if
The
I'm not
winning
mistaken.
plays.
The Philadelphia shot 29% and the Knicks
Oof.
shot 25. So they're both at the same rate of like inefficient buckets. But again, fast break points. I mean, second chance points, 21 versus 8, Philadelphia. There's something about the energy the Knicks is bringing. They're getting the best stats that can win you the game. They're winning those. They're not necessarily efficient.
Yeah, they're making the hustle plays.
We
They're
only have one star, and he just became a star like yesterday. So we don't have talent, but they're just using the most important things of basketball that's gonna win you games, like rebounds, second chances, like putting the energy. They're just going out. That's what I was telling you. Like until we get a new coach, this is the coach, and this is how he's gonna win. And I'm not stressing myself. I'm just gonna buy in whatever he has until we lose. But yeah, that's how the Knicks are getting, and I think whatever Indiana's doing right now, I'm not even nervous as a fan because I want to see how they respond to the late third and fourth when that energy is gonna pick up.
yeah.
That's all. If they can figure it out, that's gonna be dangerous for the Knicks.
Yeah. I thought I genuinely thought they were gonna be better. Especially after the last because I know Rick Carlisle to be a very good head coach, but
Yeah,
after his last comments crying about small market teams should
you
be
give
should be should be given a fair shot. I'm
like,
like, yo,
bro.
Get this
We're
man
not
out of
even
here.
like we're still borderline sucky
Get this
and
man
good.
out of here, man.
Like
Like,
they're
dude,
acting like we're Denver Nuggets or something. Like,
it's like
bro,
these like the Knicks got to the second seed because of the fact like the Cavaliers still had a good season, but Philadelphia, like let's be honest, Philadelphia was injured throughout the entire
yeah,
season.
yeah,
Like so and then they beat a hobbled team in the Bucks. Uh, I mean, I still think they probably would have ended up winning the series overall because they've been kicking like the Bucks is not a good team.
hmm
Like, let's just be honest, they're not a good team, not a good roster. And they kicked their ass throughout the entire season. But yeah, man, like I was really disappointed with those comments, man. Like, came out to the press conference like crying, like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you're supposed to. It's like, yeah, the calls didn't go our way, but we're going back at home. They did
it's
what they
looking
were
like
supposed. They
the
did what they were.
Cavs coach last year. He did the same thing. It's like you're going home, bro. Like focus on game 4 and 5. Like let it go.
That's crazy, man. But yeah, get them out of here. Pack them
Yeah,
up.
yeah. I hope we do. But second part of that Knicks is the Draymond Green comments that he made to on the Knicks. So basically, if I can just like give your a little example, he said not example like shortening the whatever he said. He said,
Paraphrasing.
yeah, there you go. The Knicks are a fluke and setting fans up for misery. They remind me of the Hawks and Portland when they made to the conference final and never came back until today is the May 10th. Yeah, May 10th, 2024. I understand his point. Because when the Hawks beat the Knicks, Knicks were not that good yet. Like
Mm-hmm.
they showed that the Knicks were not ready yet, and they beat Philadelphia. Philadelphia is just an on and off team. So can we really use Philadelphia as a reference in the East because they have not really done much to be a reference? And then they reached the Boston Celtics. They gave him a couple. Yeah, the Celtics, right? Or the
Who?
Bucks.
Atlanta? Oh,
Yeah,
the Bucks. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when they lost to the conference finals, right?
When last
Yes.
year?
Nah, the year they beat the Knicks. The year that the Madison Square Garden
Oh,
had the
damn, I
chant
cannot
against the Hawks.
remember. I can't
Oh,
remember.
okay.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
yeah
They went to the finals with the Hawks, and then the Bucks beat them with
to the
Giannis.
conference. Okay, there you go.
Giannis
That
still
was
out.
gonna be tough anyways to do so because you have a team that has a reference that were very good at that moment. I do understand that because it was a young team that you felt that all right, so we thought like as a Knicks fan, I'm not we thought we were on the like above them, but then we need to get better because there's another team that we have to be worrying about, like versus like Celtics, Philadelphia, and Bucks. We have another one in Miami. We can't remember like Miami, even if they not great sometimes in seasons, but comes playoff times, the culture kicks in. But the difference is that they started dissecting the team a little bit. Like there were that rumor that Nate McMillan versus Trey Young that
Yeah,
didn't don't get along. The weird dismissal of Cam Reddish for a bag of chips. It's like they wanted to get rid of him. Kevin Herter just was very good. He was knocking tough shots, and then he moves on to Sacramento. DeAndre Hunter never really became a better player. He's still stagnant. Bogdanovich is okay. He's good, but whatever. So they haven't really they didn't progress. So that's why they never came back. The difference is Knicks are progressing. They're making good trades and they still hold their first round pick. So they can still go get another star.
yeah, and they got cap space.
Exactly. So I don't
Yeah,
that's the only thing I understand his point, but that's where he lost me because it's not the same. And I thought that comment was out of pocket, but
yeah, for sure, man. I mean, it's fun. Like, I know people love hating on the Knicks, as a franchise. And I'm like, yo, bro, this is like one. This is like the first year that they're actually decent, bro. Like,
yeah.
like
First year
it's not
was just like, okay, let's see what we can get. We got second round six in Miami. Okay, that's not bad. We make it to the second round again. Okay, keep the momentum. Like become us. I we always gotta get to the second round. Put that in your mentality. I think they're building something.
for sure. And
Yeah.
I would probably like more lean to like maybe it's like, oh, it's like the run that the Portland Trailblazers made, and then they couldn't
Yeah,
come
they
back
may.
with Damian Lillard. But I'm like, dude, that's the Western Conference. That's a whole different monster. Like
Yeah, the
the
Western Conference is difficult.
yeah, and the Portland roster again was not good. That's why they got destroyed when they got to the conference
Yeah.
finals, man. Like because they were working so hard in the previous two rounds.
Yep.
Once it got to the finals, which is again one of the points that I made about the Knicks that I don't know like when if they get even
If they
past
get
this,
yeah, they're gonna get destroyed.
like
But
how
the
how
Celtics gonna give us two because it's the Celtics. They're just gonna be like, here you go, buddy. You know
but
us.
But yeah, like this is the Eastern Conference. I think the team has way better characters
Mhm.
on this squad than the other two teams that he's mentioned.
Yeah.
Like you don't have a like look, we could say like Trey Young, like his assist numbers are through the roof, but overall dig down, like I still think he's like a little bit selfish. Um, I don't think it's the case about like that. That's the case about Brunson, especially on the run that he's in right now. And the other guys won't actually want to play for him. So you got some dogs in Dante and Josh Hart, his
Josh Hart,
college,
the
his
Villanova
college,
Knicks.
no,
This is
his
crazy.
college friends that they'd be like, yo, dude, like it's 3v all of versus everybody, man. Like we're gonna ride for this guy. This guy's gonna take us to the promised land. Like, yo, he's balling out. We're gonna do whatever we can to actually support him. And like everybody else is falling in line. The only thing I would say, like maybe like into the future going forward, is the fact that I do think that the Knicks are a really good market. Well, New York is a really great market. I think people would probably still be a little bit apprehensive about going to play for Thibodeau because you just don't know when you're gonna play. And he hates young guys, bro. Like this is the first year that he's actually like I was like,
But
okay, like
you gotta see the how would I say like the young guys he's playing. Like McBride, for example.
yeah,
McBride is getting minutes because McBride is a dog. Like he defends, he puts energy. Those
yeah,
are his criteria. Like all the young guys, like
because Jimmy Butler when he got drafted in the last as the last player of the first round.
mhm.
Um, he spent the entire first season, his rookie year, just on the bench, like never saw minutes. Like
Yeah, he's
until the
not.
second season, that's when he started getting a little, minutes here and there, and everything like Tibb was asking him was like, "Yo, I don't need you to shoot anything. I just need you to go out there and play perimeter defense. That's it." And that's why I feel like guys like Emmanuel quickly probably wanted to. They're like, "Yo, get
I
me
gotta
out of
go.
here." Yeah.
Yeah,
Even though like, the team like contract wise, like, that's what he was really fighting for. I don't
yeah.
think he had a personal issue with Tibbs, but
No, but it worked out.
yeah.
Like it's gonna work out better for him. And also teams that certain players that like different kind of like offense also like so they might think twice. Like a guy like a KD would not want to play for the Knicks because like that's not his style of plays.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so let's just go to the other topic, Mike. It's Coach Mike Budenholzer who's been hired by Suns. Um I know you had a very interesting talks about this guy in the past. Like
No, yeah.
what's your expectation for him in the Suns
I
as a guy
mean,
that won it
mhm.
already?
I think
And
depending on what they do with the
yeah,
roster to
roster. Okay.
retool it,
Oh, okay. Let me start with that. Do you think they're gonna tweak the roster or are they gonna go with the same roster?
I think they have to. I mean,
Tweak it? Okay.
it's gonna be difficult. They're gonna have to
Yeah.
really finesse some players. Ishbia is probably gonna be like, yo, like, hey, listen, man, you just take the deal on paper. Like, I'll give you some stocks in whatever company or whatever, so that you can make some money.
Yeah. Because
Cause
this not gonna be a pretty
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, because that's all they're gonna. Cause
It's tight.
yeah, even Eric Gordon, he's on a whack ass salary for a player of his
Yeah, but
caliber.
some of them might be like, are they gonna try to trade players as well to kind of tweak it, maybe with to go with different style to be more
They could
compatible for
they could
KD
only
and Devin
trade
Booker?
they could only trade 2 players.
That's it. I know.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's tough. It's
um,
gonna be tough, man. I don't know what's
yeah.
gonna do. Yeah.
But what I will say is, no matter how I feel about him, like regular season wise, this team is going to look much, much different because Budenholzer knows how to coach offense. This is a guy that took an Atlanta team with like, spare parts. No disrespect to the Jeff Teagues, the Kyle Korvers, the Paul Millsaps of the world. These guys, like he turned them into all stars and figured out an offense where they could all play off of each other and a team that got 60 wins, I think twice, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, in Atlanta. So this guy knows how to coach offense. So, it's going to be very different, most definitely.
Okay.
But am I expecting this team to win a championship? Absolutely not. They're still not going to win a championship.
It's getting a little bit tougher because there's other team picking up the
100%.
like closing the gap. Some team
Uh,
already closed the gap.
100%. And depending on if this Minnesota Timberwolves team is successful or not going into, their matchup tonight, I think teams like are really going to start looking at. That's why one of the reasons, man, I'm so pissed off at the Boston Celtics, man. It's like, dude, you guys have all this length and all this wingspan, like, and you're not utilizing it. That's why I was like, yo, bring Ime Udoka back, man. But I think teams will probably start looking at
You said
that.
something after that.
Listen,
That's not for the audience.
yeah. But because under Ime Udoka, their identity was we're gonna be the hardest playing team every single night that we play against another
And he
team.
called
And
them out like early on in the season when they were not playing well. They're like, "Hey, this team has to do better."
yeah,
Then they transitioned to Smart saying some comments as well. And then he got them together, be like, "Listen, we could do something special." And then it was very good. It was a very
yeah,
balanced team.
they became a defensive, like it was
Yeah, they had an
defense.
identity.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was defense first, but now this team is all offense and 3-point shooting.
and then
That's
we're
their
just gonna have
identity.
fun. We're gonna win. We're gonna lose a couple when we're not.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Ridiculous. But if this Minnesota Timberwolves team is successful, I think teams will start looking at like, hey, how do we replicate that? How do we put a whole bunch of versatile uh, wings on the floor that could help us on the defensive end with two one perimeter guy and one inside present that could actually stretch the floor. Like I think that's Denver has that type of team. It's just the fact that their bench is like depleted. Like they don't
hmm
have a bench outside of what's his name? The point guard. I
Reggie
forget his
Jackson.
name. Yeah, Reggie Jackson and Christian Brown. Uh, you know, but the Minnesota Timberwolves team, like man, this team, like, the way that they're playing defense right now, man, is ridiculous because everybody's big, everybody has crazy wingspan, and they're super athletic. So, I think
It's
teams
gonna
will
be tough for a lot of teams. Yeah,
yeah.
and like you said,
And
maybe teams are gonna look to see
and
how they can. Yeah,
and when the Lakers won in the bubble,
it was
that
a very similar. Yeah,
Caruso, KCP, LeBron, Anthony Davis, JaVale
Kuzma.
McGee, Kyle Kuzma, like that type of formula, like it could get you places, man. It could
Yeah,
get you places. So like yeah, I think that Phoenix Suns team, man, they in for a rude awakening, man. Like rude awakening. Like OKC ain't going nowhere. Denver ain't going nowhere. Minnesota ain't going nowhere. Like
you're right. All right, so to end the show, Mike,
mhm.
we're gonna have a segment, the last segment. Segment came from you, actually. The name, the Haters Corner. Mike gonna have a minute or so to put his hat on and go at. And who is it gonna be, Mike?
Listen, man. How do they say it on the Joe Budden podcast? ISO on me. ISO
I
on
saw
me.
me. All right, I
All
forgot the
right.
camera is
You
on Mike
know,
right now. He has
this
his
ain't
haters hat on,
this ain't Richie.
and this is the
This
Haters Corner.
this is me, man. I hate the Boston Celtics, and I hate this kid named Jason Tatum, man. After his comments last night talking about like this team is not a super team, like we haven't been treated like a super team. Boy, if you don't, dude, if y'all don't go out there and play basketball, man, like acting like two players on the court making $50 million, 40 plus million dollars in you and Jaylen Brown. You got Kristaps Porzingis, who's a career 20-point scorer. Al Horford, career 14-point scorer, former All-Star, both of them. Drew Holiday, same thing. And you're talking about a guy in Derek White, who was the best player in San Antonio at the time of the trade, that's on your team right now, and you're not a super team. Boy, if you don't shut your mouth and play basketball, man, I hate that team, dude. Bunch of soft-ass players, man. And Joe Mazzulla's want to be philosophical ass talking about like he's Pep Guardiola. You haven't won jack, man. You haven't won jack. Prove that you could win and start talking after that, man. I hate this team. Soft ass.
All right. Oh, this hat was heavy. They're playing Saturday, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they respond in Game 3. But before we end the show, I'm gonna give one more update, which won't really matter when the time people listen to it. The game's probably gonna be what a comeback. 33-35, Indiana Pacers. And any last word, Mike, for episode 80?
No, sir. Go Knicks.
All right.
I always say no.
People
and
are
say
gonna
something.
think this is a Knicks and Real Madrid
podcast.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
academics is Drake's insider. Like that. I'm like, okay. Like
what?
Everybody got their thing, man.
All right, man. This is episode 80, available on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, and also follow us. We can discuss on Twitter. And when I say discuss, it sounds too like tough. I mean, too like serious. We can have fun on Twitter. Twitter handles will be on the comments. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend, guys. Peace.